Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste. I'm an astrologer, a coach, and an intuitive, and I am the host of the Celestial Insights podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts and right here on YouTube also. So today I wanted to come on and just make a quick video about the new Pope Leo being selected. I am tickled pink by so much of this story and just wanted to share things about the astrology of his selection. Talking more than about his chart, maybe I'll do some more of his chart analysis later, but more about the timing of the events. Astrology is a clock. Now, we don't know his birth time, but there's something extremely important about him being chosen at this time with Neptune in the sign of Aries. But I digress. Let's go back a moment. So let me share his chart. We do not know his birth time, which I wish well, I guess I will spoil something. I have talked about, and if you watch my video from, I think I posted it this morning, where I did my Astro and Oracle. I think I also talk about it on the podcast about how we're coming up to a racial reckoning. Saturn is moving into Aries on May 24th, and I feel like between now and then, something more is going to be coming. I mean, there's something that keeps coming up about the one of the United States core wounds, which is the wound about slavery. And I mean, there was a civil war fought over the issue, and racial tensions, I mean, are seething up again. We saw this with, you know, a lot of different things. Right now, one of the stories that's getting a lot of attention is this woman who called a little 5-year-old boy the N-word, and then the social media mob set on her, and then she was able to raise almost $700,000, protect my family. And then yeah, it's building, it's building, it's building as we are in Taurus season right now. And Taurus rules our values as well as our resources. And one of the things about this Pope that nobody knew until today is that he has Black roots. His mother was a Creole. So, yeah, I've got um, Beyonce's song Formation playing in my head, where she talks about mix a Creole with a Texas Bama, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's not important. I'm already off track. Okay, what did I want to say about this? Yeah, his mother, he's what we would call passing. He appears white, but he has African American roots. And one of the things, this is so funny. We have the South Node in Virgo, and Virgo is a sign of precision. And one of the rules back in the day in the United States is if you had a single drop of black blood, that made you black. So a single drop, a measurement. Virgo measures, Virgo counts. Yes, and let me show you this. Okay, let's look at his chart. So the first thing, he called himself Leo, is so significant. On a big cycle of this time right now is that we had Mars go retrograde in the sign of Leo at 6 degrees of Leo on December 6, 2024, back to 17 degrees of Cancer in February 23rd, 2025. This is a big cycle going on. And during this time, Donald Trump has become president again for the second time. And so 17 degrees of Cancer. The first thing that jumps out, we don't know his angles because we don't know his birth time, but hopefully someone who has time will rectify his chart based on events in his life. But so Mars stationed to go direct February 23rd, squaring his Mercury. In Libra. We found out he's now Pope with the moon in Libra. Is Libra on one of his angles? This is what that's making me think. Is it his midheaven? His midheaven would stand for his career, but it is also the midheaven ruler is the boss. So maybe he does have a Virgo midheaven. I don't know. Yeah, was he born during the day? We don't know what time he was born, but something related to this story, the fact that he has Mercury at 17 degrees of Libra, his Mercury has something to do with his work or his boss or his identity. I don't know, but I'm wondering if it's on. He either has a Virgo or Gemini. Gemini, midheaven or rising, I think, or Libra, something. Yeah, but I'm off track on that. Okay, so that's something that jumps out quickly. The Pope died on the day before the Taurus New Moon. So when the Pope died, it was April 20th. No, the Pope was buried April 26th. Of this year. Okay. So the day the Pope was buried, we had this Mars opposite Pluto at 3 degrees of Mars at 3 degrees of Leo opposite Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius on the day the Pope was buried. And Mars competes, Leo rules royalty, and Pluto power, Aquarius people. So as the Pope was laid to rest, then started the competition Mars to wear the crown of and have power and influence over masses of people. Yes, and we found out, and then on May, then we had a Taurus new moon at 7 degrees of Taurus. We don't see anything right around 7 degrees. I wonder if that speaks to one of his angles. I mean, just looking at his noon chart, when we don't know the birth time, many astrologers set it to noon. So setting to noon, a new moon at 7 degrees of Taurus would be an exact trine to this midheaven. And then we had a first quarter moon on May. I am on a tight timeline, so I can't just flap my gums endlessly like I like to do. Because I have a client coming up. What was Sunday? May 4th. May 4th. May the 4th be with you and also with you. Okay. May 4th, we had a first quarter moon at 14 degrees of Leo. First quarter moons are times of action. 3 days later, the conclave began on May 7th, and they had 2 black smokes and then a white smoke. And then we found out, so the conclave began under a Leo moon phase. Each of the moon phases last 3.5 days, and they each have a different quality. Like A balsamic moon, when the Pope was buried, that last phase before the new moon has a releasing quality. And then we had the new moon in Taurus. Things are done in the dark. And so the people got together and, um, there are all these probably these power plays going on behind the scenes and all of that kind of stuff. I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was announced after the funeral, the date of the conclave, May 7th. And then so the first quarter moon was in effect at the conclave. And then they started deliberations under a Virgo moon where they were probably going through thinking in their minds or talking to each other about the details of each candidate. I haven't finished the movie Conclave yet. I'm at the beginning, but it's really good with Ralph Fiennes and Stanley Tucci and John not Malkovich from Third Rock from the Sun. It's a very good movie so far. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it, about the process that they go through to pick a new pope. Yes. Okay. So, and this moon squared his Saturn. Saturn is our karma. It has to do with structure. But see how it squares by 3 degrees? The conclave started 3 days after. The degrees, you will see them show up very importantly a lot of times. So 3 days after the first quarter moon was when the conclave started that was leading to him being selected as Pope. And then today on the 8th, we had a gibbous moon where the moon is pregnant with possibilities. It's a bright phase. It's like people are interacting. Yes. And so we found out it was a gibbous moon at, it must be 18 degrees because the sun, no, it wouldn't be 18 degrees because it's gibbous. 3 degrees. The gibbous moon is at 3 degrees. 3 degrees of 3 degrees of Libra today, and this is the day we find out that he is now Pope. Look at what we see. The sun, which illuminates things, is squaring his Jupiter, which is Jupiter in Leo. He literally is a religious figure who is the Pope. He's a religious figure who's going to wear the ultimate crown. Yes, and he picked Leo for his name. It's so in line with the astrology that he's called Pope Leo. And look, the sun is opposite his Saturn, squaring his Jupiter. He has a Jupiter-Saturn square in his chart, and that's what's going on in the sky. Right now, Jupiter and Saturn they have already squared twice with Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. And you can read that as Jupiter in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. You can read that as the Pope, Jupiter, a religious figure. Saturn died, a Pisces, old age, a weakness, physical weakness. Pisces is not old age. Saturn's more old age, but Pisces is like a physical weakness. And he had pneumonia and stuff, which is very Piscean. In Gemini, that rules the lungs. The Pope died of complications from pneumonia. That's Jupiter in Gemini square Saturn and Pisces, translated to English. Okay. And yeah, and then they're going to square one more time. Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Aries. And I think it's really important he's Pope with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, because people can be ready to fight about things about belief systems and order. And I think racial animus between people in the United States is unfortunately really going to be bubbling up, and there may be something more than just what we're seeing right now. Unfortunately, there's so much going on with sinners being top of the box. So I just see somebody with who's not doing well and is, I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a black supremacist, but I feel like a white supremacist is gonna um, make some big statement at some point, maybe when the sun meets Uranus. Yeah, we'll see. Like he's sitting at home, he got, nothing going on in his life. He sees Sinners as the top at the box office, the Met Gala, and he only sees this because Fox News or these right-wing people are promoting I think Megyn Kelly did something like that was tearing down the Met Gala. I don't know why. I mean, people were dressed appropriately. It wasn't like it was black dandyism. Oh, and then the Sean Combs trial starts. So there's all like race is really amplified, and now we have a pope who has black ancestry. So there's something coming. Just be aware. And last thing, fortunately, I have to go, but I want to put this out here, make sure people understand. So how, if you had been like looking at all the candidates, if you had their birth dates and you were looking at them, one of the clues that this Pope was the one who was going to wear the crown is, look at this. The eclipses say what's coming up in our lives. The lunar eclipse on March 14th, they open a cycle. The solar eclipse is the big event. The solar eclipse was on March 29th, the day before Neptune entered Aries in a trine with his Uranus. Neptune in Aries, a new start for his faith, and he becomes world famous. Uranus broadcast, and he wears the crown, Leo. So, but at this lunar eclipse, the big feature was Sun, Saturn, and Pisces. Sun, Saturn, his boss, Sun and Saturn both have to do with authority figures. His boss died of an illness, and then it caused, see how the sun was opposite his Sun-Venus conjunction in the sign of Virgo. And all this Virgo energy suggests he's someone who may have some connection with the common person, because that's very Virgoan. But he has his Leo, so he understands the people who consider themselves royalty. Each sign is in rebellion to the one before it. Like, yeah, Leo wants attention. People with strong Virgo kind of shy away from attention at times. So people with them both, they can sometimes have this inner struggle. Yeah. But look at this. The moon on his Venus. So he got a benefit from this boss moving on to a different position in heaven. And Jupiter is coming to trine his Mercury. So yeah, that is also I think his Mercury has something to do with, it has something to do with his midheaven. If he doesn't have Libra up here, I think he has Virgo or Gemini, but I could be wrong. And look at this, boop, boop, that's square. Yeah, I think, yeah. And boop, boop, that's in a trine. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what else did I want to say about this? And today, something to note is that Jupiter's on his South Node. The South Node has to do with roots, family, and ancestry. And we're finding out all the things he said in the past. He is someone who is very more on the progressive side, like Pope Francis. He's not really conservative, thank goodness. Yeah. But the stuff about his race is going to probably make news in the right-wing world. I'm sure there'll be a lot of racial slurs tossed around in some of those spaces. But if you look at this, His South Node is right on the US, Mars, and Gemini. What is one of the things that separates Americans? Race. So yeah, stay tuned. I think this is really important that that he is the Pope. Maybe I'll do another video in another time, but I have got to go. Okay, take good care. I hope this was helpful and insightful to give you some understanding about astrology. It's literal and it is a tool that can help improve your life. You can book a reading at astrologybyceleste.com.